I think the only reason why loot boxes haven't been protected by law in America is because the mega billion-dollar corporations bribe our representatives to ignore the problem of loot boxes, and because so many of our representatives are boomers or Gen Xers who don't understand the internet very well. Boomers, Gen Xers, and maybe even some millennials may be oblivious to the internet and gaming, but do you know who isn't? Children. Children and young adults are the most targeted group of people for loot boxes because of how oblivious and unwise most of them are. With the advent of easier yet confusing purchasing processes online, more digital currency existing now, and parents' obliviousness to the internet, it is easier for children to access their parents' bank account and credit card more than ever and spend all their money on loot boxes. Children are very susceptible to bright lights and loud noises and pretty animations. Loot boxes provide this every time they open one. So the combination of money irresponsibility and the enticing nature of loot boxes and gambling in general, loot boxes are very effective at tricking little kids into buying tons and tons of loot boxes and wasting money. If the money wasting wasn't bad enough, loot boxes teach children bad habits. Gambling, like loot boxes, more often than not ends up with the gambler losing money on worthless prizes. But loot boxes are even worse in this regard because even though you may gain useless items, the children will think, oh, look at all these things I have now. Loot boxes have given me so much, even though they've gained nothing from a monetary sense. This behavior can and sometimes will evolve into an in-person gambling habit when they grow older. On top of making children develop bad gambling habits, loot boxes also make children disrespect the value of money and make them irresponsible spenders when they grow older. Just know that purchasable loot boxes should be considered gambling and therefore protected by gambling laws to make sure no children are exploited. They should be considered gambling because they present themselves just like real-life gambling machines. They match the definition of gambling, and they could make children develop bad habits and waste money. In conclusion, loot boxes are just unregulated gambling devices for children, and I hope I have persuaded you to realize the real problems that loot boxes present to children.